Hello, welcome to the very first installment of TwoCrazyShuckers videos. We make and sell resin and sterling silver earrings. We have an Etsy shop, which is in the linked on our page. And we've been doing this since about 2018. Our name comes from our old pearl shucking business, and the name just stuck, so we kept it. Today, I'm going to show you this new mold from Crafty 787 we've never tried before. And it is a butterfly. I think we're going to try these here with one glitter in the back and then one with alcohol ink. So I want to use this Chameleon powder from Resin, and it's called Violet, and it's kind of a color shifting powder. Never used it before, so let's see about getting it open. Try not to get it in the mold. Oh, that's pretty. I like it. And we're going to find a small brush to put it on with. Printer's going in the background. Working on some Etsy orders as I record our first video. But I want to kind of burnish this in. Now for our earrings, sometimes we do use two-part epoxy. But for the most part, our earrings are made with UV resin. I like the instant having it done, being able to work on them that day and see the finished product. Because like with this one, we'll paint, the details of the butterfly so you can get it done. A pair of earrings can take you 2 to 3 days to get finished, but I'm going to show you each step into making a pair of earrings that are comfortable to wear, that are safe for your ears, and resin is so lightweight. It's really, you can wear it all day. It feels great on your ears. And with the sterling, you don't have to worry about any allergies to nickel. We had our sterling tested at one point, and there was less than 5% nickel. And I have got really bad allergies to certain metals, but especially nickel. As you can see, I wear all sterling silver. And I don't have a problem with it anymore. And I don't have a problem wearing our earrings all day either. I don't wear as many post or stud ones. I do have some. But for the most part, I wear ear wires and the dangles. So I'm just trying to burnish this in the best that I can. And we don't worry about what's over here. We can wipe that off after we pour. And I do think I'm going to hold off on making those because I'll need to clean out the mold before I start those. I guess what I could do is burnish them with this as well. And then we'll just change the back. Now, a lot of times with two-part epoxy, people use like a black resin, which is great if you're using two-part. But if you're using UV, those molecules need the light to get excited to become hardened. So I don't recommend using a lot of black. Now we do use some black, but most times, say this pair of earrings here, I burnished with the Resin Chrome Red, but I used an alcohol ink on the back to color the resin. And it looks just as good, but it makes the UV resin react better and harden better, and it stays, hardened. You don't have any problems later on with it getting soft. Now, I can tell you that over the years, we've tried several UV resins, and Resin is the first one that we have used that we keep, say a pair of earrings we've had 2 years, and it's in the package, it does not get sticky and it does not lose its shine. Now, we have had some issues with some other types of resins that did not last this period of time. And for us, you know, with anything you make, you may hang on to it a little bit longer, because not every pair of earrings you make is someone's style or someone's cup of tea, you know. But for the most part, I can tell you, we use Let's Resin for a reason. Let's Resin has the best UV product out there. We also use the Let's Resin Epoxy for our 2-part epoxy. But we use, this is high viscosity, which we use for doming or for attaching the post studs in the back. It works both ways. Let me clean some of this up here just a little bit, because this stuff gets everywhere. And I just like to kind of keep my mat a little bit clean so we don't have a bunch of interference. I just keep this full of isopropyl alcohol. So for this, you can see we kind of have a kind of a purple shimmer in the back. I thought it might look cute to use this, my glitter chip Unstoppable. It's a fine glitter. I do find that with glitter in UV resin, especially for the details like we have here in the butterfly wings, it's going to lay a little bit better. Usually when we have this kind of detail and I've burnished something onto the mold, I try not to add a whole lot of additives, because you can't make sure that each one of those, you know, that the air bubbles aren't there. And when you use glitter, you're going to get air bubbles. So for today, I think we're going to use alcohol ink. I may have to open some resin, but I'm going to try to use the rest of this bottle, at least for the, I think we got enough. So let's find a purple. Oops. Let me see, I should have had this ready. Can't decide what color I want to use. I love Let's Resin alcohol inks. Dark magenta. Sapphire blue might look pretty. I'm going to shake it up a little bit. But I think I am going to show you, and it's important, when you use alcohol ink and UV resin, they kind of don't like each other. So you have to remember to use it sparingly and to mix it well so that you have a consistency that the light can still get through, but it can also be a color. It doesn't have to be clear. A lot of people think that it has to be clear, and it doesn't. So I actually think I'm going to add a little bit more to this for those larger butterflies. You can hear my TV in the background. I watch YouTube videos of other people doing resin. So we're going to get the bubbles out after we pour it into the mold. So what I'm going to try to do is like pour it over there and let it kind of run on its own, because then it will fill in those negative spaces a little bit better. It's really important that you let resin flow. The more it flows, the more it's going to fall into the places you want it to fall. And It's going to fill in all those spots just a little bit better. And we want to fill it right level with the top of the mold. This one needs a little bit more. Usually I guesstimate pretty good on the amount of resin I need. But any time that I have overages, I try to put them into like a keychain mold. And I make kind of these mixed keychains that we put free with our orders. So I think those look really well. So then we're going to take a lighter, just run it over, and you can see, I'm not sure if you can see it on there, but the bubbles come out pretty easily. Now, okay, we're back. Orders are in the mailbox for today, and our first pair of butterflies are nice and solid. That means that our UV has perfectly done its thing and its job. So I wasn't going to use glitter because of the details, and I thought it would cause a lot of bubbles and stuff. But I think that's a good jumping off point of teaching people how to fix those things, maybe how to help with them. That's the whole idea of doing this, is to help people get comfortable using UV resin, because it is an amazing product to work with. There's no wait time. I know they have all these fast cure resins now and stuff too, in 2-part. So I'm gonna add a little bit of this super fine glitter by My Glitter Chick. In the description will be links and coupon codes. Like with this, we have a 10% code. Let's Resin, we have an affiliate code. And with Crafty, we have an affiliate code. You follow the links or use the codes that we have, and you can get a 10% discount on your orders. We just became a glitter ambassador with My Glitter Chick. And her glitters, oh my gosh, she has so many amazing glitters. I just used this glitter in, these moon earrings. The minute that I seen the glitter, I knew what earrings it was going to become. So it's going to be these moons. These still need a lot of finishing work, sanding, back coating, top coating, but they are cute. And then I ended up making them in these little bunnies too, that look like little Peeps bunnies. So we're going to give those a try too. But Cindy has some amazing glitters. So we have to remember, we already have this burnishing on the front. So we want the glitter to be able to react appropriately. So we don't want to add so much glitter that we get a bunch of air bubbles and a bunch of problems. Now, something you could also do to this is you could add some mica powder, which would give it a little more of a solid color. Let's go with that's a blue. It's a dark blue. Let's use this dark blue by Let's Resin. Let's just see what happens if we put a little bit of that in. Now, I know it's controversial about wearing gloves, but I have to tell you that for us, I use the gloves when I demold, but that's about it. Because I'm more allergic to even the nitrile gloves and having them on my hands for a long time. And I'm very careful about not getting resin, and I keep my hands wiped thoroughly. It's a personal choice. Now, when I work with 2-part epoxy, I try to make sure that I always am wearing gloves. That seems to bother my hands a lot and my skin. So we're going to pour this in. We're going to give it a second to kind of pour over the spots, but we're going to let it do its own thing so that it fills in those negative spaces a little bit better. let it just kind of run. Sometimes it's a pain to wait for it and we all get impatient, but a little beauty coat is sometimes a good thing. It helps you get out bubbles. And then we can just fill the cavity back up fully and then let it run and fill in. You notice it's going to run down. That one looks a little over full right now, but it will kind of run down and fill in that space and it'll get more level. Kind of try to keep some of my sticks wiped off. I do like these short sticks working with UV resin, and I get those off Amazon. One thing that you always want to make sure of is that you're getting around the little earring part where the jump ring goes to make your earring. You can get air bubbles in there. Also, if you have using a lot of glitter, you get a lot of air pockets in there, and that really causes some problems with the integrity of your earring because it will be more fragile, easily broken, you know, by the wearer. So I'm going to clean just a little bit of this out because it is a little over full for my taste. I'm just going to scoop out a little bit. Not much. Now that one looks fine. Get all the air bubbles out. See how quickly it takes them out? And then we're going to take this and just fill this one a little bit more so it's nice and even with that one. I'm going to give it a little kiss of the flame. And then this extra resin that I have here, we're going to pour in this Lotus stud mold. Now with this, I want to make sure the details are covered well, that we don't get a bunch of air pockets. So I do run around the edges a little bit more of this so that I can get those details, especially with the glitter and the mica in there. We'll run this under the lamp while we fill this one in. I run mine for 5 minutes. It's probably overkill. See, that one's got a little too much. Because you don't want too much in your studs because you need to be able to put the post on there and fill it in nicely. I'm going to show you in a video how we create the post studs so that they stay. We have gone through many processes till we got ours right to where they stay and they're not breaking. If anything, the metal breaks first. So sterling silver is a little soft. So some people aren't as careful. They get bent a little bit. And it needs to be what's the word I'm looking for? So it needs to be bent back, the little post part. And sometimes people do end up breaking it a little bit, you know, which I understand. It happens. So we're just going to tap these a couple times and then I'm going to stick those right up onto the lamp with it. And I do have a little bit more, and I have this adorable butterfly wing stud mold that we're going to open. It is also from Crafty 787 shop. She has a Etsy page and a website, and she offers several kinds of molds. She offers the perfect mold for UV resin, and they last a very long time. Some molds do not stand up the test of time, but I can tell you hers last. If I have the extra to spend on molds, I make sure that I spend it with her because I know that it's going to last more than 5 or 6 times. And the silicone that she uses, over time, some of people use silicone that just doesn't hold up. It gets sticky and it gets weird. Hers does not do that. So I'm all about not wasting any resin, and I did mix up too much for those little wings. So we're going to use the rest of it, and then we're going to put that under the light to cure. I'm going to give these a little bit of, get those extra bubbles out. And clean up this edge right here just a little bit. I love these little tools right here. They're so versatile for working with resin. And like I said, you wearing gloves, not wearing gloves, that's a personal preference. I have found my skin does better if I keep my hands wiped and I don't need to wear gloves. I don't need to put a lot on them. It's just easier for me. It's not everybody's cup of tea, like I said. Some people, PPE is very important, especially with two-part. Now that's a different story for me. When I use two-part, I have to make sure that I am wearing gloves. It is very important to my skin that I do that. So I just say, do what's right for you, not what everybody says you should do. That's your own, it's your body, your decision. You know, an air purifier is never a bad decision for a resin room. And I think it's important to keep your resin space and your resin tools clean. Keep them resin free. Keep them so that they're not sticky. You know, keep your hands wiped. My hands, like I said, I don't have any problem working with it this way, but it's a choice. When I demold, I do choose to use a pair of gloves. This is my first time using this Chameleon powder. I have this, there's another color as well that I have, but I'm excited to try these. I love Let's Resin products, as you can see. I like their alcohol inks. I use their ocean white and black resin colorant. I use their mica powders. I have several glitters by them as well. I have some beautiful, like metallic alcohol inks. I have not tried these yet. I am excited. This champagne gold is beautiful. But it's like I said, it's a personal preference to the company you want to choose and support. Okay, so our light has gone off. Let's put this to the side and let's demold some of these items. So, I'm going to set these down here. These didn't get to run as long. This is kind of my favorite part to do. You can actually reuse this cup if you choose. I personally reuse them every chance I get. I just kind of give them a little wipe out. Okay, now what I do before I demold usually is I just run a cloth with a little bit of a isopropyl on it, and it kind of gets that excess off. It's a personal choice. You don't have to do it. It's just what I like to do. Usually I make demolding videos for our social media accounts, so I like the mold to, you know, be cleaned up a little bit. If anything, the alcohol dries your hands out worse than any part of it. Okay, so let's start with this larger pair. I'm going to take them both out of the mold, and then I'm going to flip them over together. Wow, that blue actually highlights it perfectly. I don't see any air bubbles. Those are stunning. Ooh, I can't wait to finish those. Then we have these wing, like a half a wing. Oh, see, it looks a little different with that back. See how this one is a little bit different color back there? This one definitely took on a different color with that. Super cute. I forgot to run the light. So I like those. I think they could be like, go like that. Very cute mold. Crafty787 shop. She's on Instagram. She has an Etsy shop as well as her own website. Okay, so the next step is we need to make sure when we sell a pair of earrings and we're making and selling our products, You have to make sure that they're comfortable for the wearer. So we don't want earrings that snag or catch on your skin and bother you. So every pair of earrings that we sell, we sand this rough edge off. And we're gonna put a little kind of top coat on that. So it's gonna take away that dullness. But you want to be able to, you know, you want them to feel soft against the skin. You don't want them to hurt people when they wear them. It's always a good thing just to rub it on your own skin, see how it feels. You want them to feel finished. Just because they're handmade doesn't mean they can't be perfection or as close to perfect as possible. Now, there's a lot of controversy on sanding resin. A lot of people totally believe that you should wet sand. For what we do and how we finish them, we don't have the need for wet sanding. So we dry sand. Sometimes you just have to seeing how that just feels on the skin. You want it to feel pleasant for the person wearing it. So there's that taken off. Then you have to make sure, I got that little vacuum, but it doesn't really work well on silicone. I don't know why. So I always just clean it up with some alcohol. You have to make sure you keep your area clean. It is better for your hands. It's better for your skin. It's better for what you're making. So then I love these little alcohol swabs. And this is what I use to clean all the dust off. To make sure. Oh, I see a little tiny air bubble right there, but I think it might be okay once we dome the front. It should be better. This one looks really good. Okay, so I really think I prefer this one. It definitely looks more purple. My favorite color is blue, but it definitely made them look more purple. Okay, so we got them all cleaned up. So they are ready now. You can leave them this way. You don't have to paint them. That's a choice. That's a choice you make for your art. Let's demold these really quick. This is the little wing. See, those are going to be some cute little studs. We have a little air bubble right there, but I think it might be okay. Oh yeah, those are adorable. I cannot wait to paint those and try them. We'll set those over here with my to-do pile over there. I'm not sure if that's on screen or not. And then these are the little lotuses. Oh, those come out really good. I don't see any air bubbles at all. I like the color too. That's a great combo of glitter, just a little sparkle, and then the mica. And now these have the little lotus on them. Oh yeah, those come out really nice. I don't know if you can see that. I'm hoping. I guess I won't know until I watch the video back. Okay. So now we paint. I'm definitely painting this pair. Most recently, I have been using to paint these adorable little markers that I got. They're just acrylic markers, and it takes a couple of coats, but it really does make it easier because there's not as much wiping. off as there is with a regular paint, and I don't feel like there's as much mess. Now I do put a couple of coats before I clean it off fully, but I also like just how it fills in the area. Like I said, it's a personal choice. You don't have to paint them. I just think that it makes them stand out. I guess we could have tried to paint them a different color. Maybe we'll try that another time. Like maybe like the purple. I just always paint white. And I've bought several paint markers, the acrylic paint markers. You can buy them separate, but this little set is my favorite. And I think it came from Ross. Just one of those things that you see at Ross that you don't see somewhere else. So I guess we'll have to learn how to speed this part up maybe so that it isn't boring to people. But I also want you to see the steps that it takes to make a pair of earrings from start to finish. It's not just taking them out of the mold and putting the, findings on and you've got a pair of earrings. That's not what it's about. There's several steps to make your earrings wearable, to make them art for someone, to make someone feel like they're getting something special. That's always been our goal at TwoCrazyShuckers, is that our earrings are comfortable to wear, that you feel good wearing them, that you feel good that you spent the money and bought yourself something. But I also want them to be affordable too, so we really try to keep our prices fair. Now keep in mind, all metal findings on our earrings are 925 sterling silver. We do not use any other metal. Oh, I really want to try the purple. Maybe I'll try the purple on this one. Let's just see what happens. See, I like the purple. That's kind of cool. Okay. So this pair is going to have purple. Interesting. Very interesting. Maybe I need to zoom in a little bit. Let me stand up, check out the view. Oh, I guess I gotta take my glove off to do that. There we go. Ooh, that got bright. Well, that's a little too far. Let's try there. Let's see what that looks like. Put my glove back on. Actually, I don't really need these anymore. I can just take them both off. I find it, see, my hands are already starting to sweat in them. Okay, so let's do this one. I'm not being real precise with the coloring because I'm going to wipe that extra off with the alcohol swab before I do the second coat. The purple is going to be pretty, I think. Something different. Now let's get this one done. I can see that the white is going to take more than maybe a couple of coats. It might take 3 coats. And like I said, I do have some other acrylic paint markers, but honestly, for some reason, as you can see, I'm wearing the tip out on this one. I love this one. These ones just go on well. It sits well even on the flat resin. Like we did some apples, per se, that we're going to feature today on our social media account. And we painted just the stem on the apple before we resin domed. And the green just came out so vibrant, and it really stuck well underneath of the resin. So I don't know if you can get these on Amazon. I have not looked. I probably need to, because if anything, I would like some more white ones. Because I do use white a lot. A lot. So, now that this is dried, I'm going to put some more in the spots. So you can see I missed a spot right there. Like I said, it's a personal preference. A lot of people paint and they wipe it off. That's just not me. I've tried it and it was a nightmare for me. It just didn't work out. So when I found these markers, I found that I didn't mind earrings with the details so much anymore because painting them wasn't, you know, such a nightmare. So now, like, what I do is if I get a bunch of, you know, different shapes cast, and then I go in and I take the marker and then I go through and do like these. Like this one's going to need to be painted as well. It's not a hard process. Like I said, it's pretty easy because I know it's on the outside of it right now and it looks messy, but you're going to be surprised when you go to clean it up. You just have to make sure you fill in all those little areas where you can see empty spots. You know, it's really important. And it does take a couple of coats. It just takes a little bit of patience, but the payoff is worth it because when you dome it, and those details just stand out beautifully. So, you know, there's another example of how you can paint with these. Also, here's a little stud. Just take it. Make sure you're filling in all the negative areas. You know, all the indentations, the engraving part. And I can see spots that I'm missing. But when I do the second coat, it usually fills that right in. See, there's a little hole. And we're going to let that dry for a minute and then I'll show you. So the first one I'm going to do are the purple ones because they look like they filled in well and they're quite dry. So now we're just going to wipe the top gently and pull all the paint off the top and any you might have got on the edges. Oops. Purple's fun. And it changes the look drastically. You can see where the paint still sits. And you just rub gently and get that off. Now you don't see the effect as much with the purple paint as you do with the white. But I think that is a cute take on it. Now I do see this one needs to be painted a little bit more again. Second coat. Always make sure you're getting all the details painted very well. I guess I need to try some of the other markers. I need to not give up, but I need to look for this brand because I am super happy with the results on other earrings that I've used them on. I don't go to Ross enough. I'm not much of a shopper. So I don't know if that's something they carry all the time or if it was just like, you know how they just have like whimsical stuff sometimes. On a whim you find something. They don't have a lot of arts and crafts usually stuff. But these markers were the best thing I found. So I'm going to go back to this one already because I can see that it's dry. And I'm just going to fill in, go a little bit more over just the letter part. I'm not showing you the whole earring because they are kind of sweary. But a pair sells I make one pair a year and it sells every year. But they are kind of sweary. So these are colored in nicely. In just a moment, I'll wipe them off and show you how great they look. So, throw that away. Let's grab another one. And let's see if this is dry enough to clean off. So close. So what I do is the first time that I go over it, I use an alcohol swab. And I try to get off as much as I can without pulling out of the areas. I kind of like the faded look of this white on these. Hopefully that looks okay, because I can't see my camera or what it's recording. I guess I should stand up maybe, I'm not sure. So just get off the bulk, which I might have gone too early on this one because it's very wet. See, I love the way they kind of look distressed. But then I take a baby wipe. And I try to make sure I get all the spots as clean as possible. So you have more of a finished product. And I do like that the white in these is a bit faded, like a distressed butterfly. It's really a kind of a more casual look. I'm actually going to wipe that one a little bit more so they kind of match. It's your art. You decide how you want it to look. Yeah, I think that looks really good. See, I don't have good luck working with the baby wipe at first. I definitely have to use the alcohol swab to get the bulk off. Oops, I'm not on camera probably. See, I love that. It needs another little bit on it. This one, I'm trying to get the bulk off. And like I said, sometimes the painting, oh, so the alcohol pulled my chrome off. Well, there's something you can learn from my mistakes. Don't put alcohol on these. Huh. Okay. So now those are no good. That was easy. But I do like the pairs we have so far. So this we're going to put over there because we're not working on those today. I just want to work on these butterflies. I'm going to put you on pause and I will be right back. So today's video, our first video, is about the basics of making earrings. As we progress on our videos, we're going to come back and show you the different ways and the different techniques that we have seen others try with two-part epoxy and, you know, just other techniques that you can use to do your earrings. So for us, this is our go-to for the back of our earrings. And I'm going to tell you why. This is a product that is safe to touch the skin. UV resin, the minute that it is solidified, it is okay to touch your skin. Okay? You don't have to worry. Oh, you can see I missed a little spot right there. I'll have to fix that. So UV resin, with two-part epoxy, it can take 30 to 60 days for it to cure so that it can properly touch skin and be safe. UV resin is a little different. The minute that it has cured fully, it is ready to be worn. But we wanted to add an extra safety step to our earrings. So we use this nail gel coat on the back side of the earrings, what is touching the skin. And we have had great reviews and great luck with that. It's a personal decision. You do what you want to do. We tried using resin, UV resin on the back side, but our earrings got very sticky in the packaging, especially after they sat for very long. So we made a decision to go back to the gel. Now, there are many kinds of gels out there. We've tried 1,000 different kinds. This is our favorite kind. Let me see if I can find one that's unopened. Yeah. Let me pause you and I'll be right back. Okay, so we found another one. I don't know where the other the ones are that are in boxes. No idea. But for now, this is what we're using. It's it's just Sally Hansen gel polish. And it cures under the lamp. So what we do, this is just an old mold, 2-part. When I first started, I wanted every mold out there. This is a piece of double stick tape. I just find that it helps hold the earring in place. Now, as you can see, this one has a little bit of overpour. So we're just gonna take this little tool and pop it through. Oh, see? And I just broke that. That's the importance. See, I can show you here what not to do and what to do. So that pair is lost, unfortunately. There's no way of fixing that. Let's check this one really fast. And then check this one. Remember, this one has this little part that I need to clean up. And of course, it needs an alcohol swab. Okay, now it's even with the rest. I think this one is a little more white than the other one. I'm going to distress it just a little bit with the alcohol swab. Well, if anything was going to be a good thing to show you, that's it. What not to do. That's the important of this whole part. And if you have any kind of structure issue, it's going to break. And you don't want a customer to get that and to get it broken. So it's something that you should really make sure it's structurally sound before you send it. Now, this part's very simple. All we do is cover the entire back side of the earring. Now right there, you just got to be careful not to get it to drip over the side. Like I said, this is a personal preference. We usually don't share with people. This is the first time I've ever shared what we do to treat our earrings, but I think it's important for people to know the safety precautions that there needs to be with resin. And sometimes people use resin the wrong way, like they don't use the right type of resin for a coaster, or if they're going to be making something for outside, you know, it should be UV resistant resin. You know, if you have a deep mold, it should be for a deep casting resin. And it's important to know that even food safe resin needs a cure time before it can touch the skin. And I recommend that if you're making jewelry, you use a jewelry grade UV resin or a jewelry grade epoxy, because it's important for your customers that you use the very best and you've researched and know exactly what you're selling. So for me, for our company, it was important that we sold people a product that we could guarantee wouldn't bother their skin, that they could wear all day and it not hurt them. This was important to us as a whole, that we gave people the very best. So I let that sit and kind of get level, and then it goes into the machine. And we let that cure 2 minutes. It only needs 60 seconds, but I always do 2 minutes. Sorry, we're just working on another pair of earrings. They're already back coated. They just need to be top coated. I have a pile over here of my work. And then we're going to do the same for this one. We're just going to take and paint this on there. So when that's up against the skin, It's not going to cause a reaction because this is a product made to touch the skin. So it's just like an extra step, I feel like we do here to make the earring better. Better for someone's ear. Better for someone's skin. It makes them want to wear it every day as often as they can. You want them to love what you're making. You want them to love your earrings. This pair overall is a pretty simple pair of earrings. Not a lot of steps. Not a lot of, details to fill in as you're making them. Now, we made a pair last week. They're like a stacked heart, 3 little hearts, all dangling from each other on an ear wire. But the top heart was meant to represent an apple. It had a little leaf on it. The second heart in the stack had it had lines in it, like notebook paper. It was like a teacher school themed pair of earrings. And then the bottom heart looked like a pencil. So you had to put like the lead part and then the yellow for the pencil and then the pink for the eraser. It was really time consuming, but worth it in the end. So the important part is when you get this out, it's sticky. So anybody who knows who paints your nails with gel, you have to run the alcohol over there to get it so it's not sticky anymore. And that's how you do that. So then you take it off, you wipe it with that, seeing now it's perfectly shiny, but yet it's got that protective coating that can touch the skin and it's not going to cause a reaction. Now we're going to work on the front side. I really like the white kind of distressed on here. I only use those little alcohol swabs once too. Now a lot of people choose to use high viscosity because it doesn't run. It's easier to control. But once you get to you get some experience, doming isn't that hard. And you'll find yourself using the other. I feel like high viscosity sometimes has bubbles in it that I can't control. And I don't like the finish as much. So all I do with doming is just like a little flick kind of action. And I just go very slowly, making sure that there are no bubbles in the detail parts, but also that I'm getting right to that edge without going over. Because once you've painted the resin and added acrylic paint, it's going to wear off. You have to dome it. You have to cover whatever paint you put on there, because that is how you're going to protect those painted details. If you do not put resin over the top, they'll be able to wipe that right off. So there's one side done. Now I'm just going to add a little bit more. I need to open a new bottle soon. I just like to get every little bit I can. So then there's some bubbles right there. We're just going to work those out. And then we're just going to keep moving the resin around. Just slowly. You're not in any hurry. We just want to make sure we get a nice doming coat so she's shiny like glass. That's what I like to say anyway. That's what's going to make your earrings stand out, is when they're finished to perfection. And you want a product that is just beautiful. If you're selling somebody a product, you want it to be perfect as you can possibly get it. So I could probably move this resin a little bit. I love these little tools, by the way. The little ends on them. It's got like that silicone edge and then the little dotting tool on the other. Very handy. So this one, as you can see, it needs a little bit more to make it fully, because we're missing some spots. So I'm just going to add another tiny drop very carefully. There you go. And resin will flow. See there's a little bubble right there? We're going to get that out. And the resin just flows to the edges. Now that's beautiful. I love the little distressed details too. Now I am bummed about the other pair, but I'm glad it happened while I was making them instead of after a customer got them. So then I just run the flame over for just a minute, and you don't hold it there. You just want to make sure you're getting out any surface bubbles you can see or anything you see in the resin. And there you have it. A kind of a perfect little butterfly dome, and it looks like glassy on top. So now we're going to put that one for 5 minutes. Shut this. And then we're going to get this one ready to dome the front, because I always tend to put the hole of where the jump ring goes on the tape, and then that way it kind of has a place to stick to. Now this one is not sticky anymore, so I'm going to replace it. Just like so. See how nice that back is? It's so smooth and soft, and it's pleasant to wear. Okay. So now, we do this one. Remember, you can always add, but you cannot take away, especially when it goes over the side. It's really going to mess up your day. So, I would rather add a little, get it the bead along the edge. As long as you don't have an air bubble or you don't break that bead, the resin won't run off the edge. It kind of just goes, there's like tension. It's the best way I can describe it. It's really hard to explain, but you just keep right on that edge and it'll stay there. See right here, we want to go around this hole. These have kind of a small area right here. So we want to make sure we give that some extra reinforcement. And that's another thing I feel like with the coating on the back, the doming, I think it makes your product sturdier. You know, your earring itself is going to hold up to a whole lot more wear if you do these steps and create more of a, you know. See, now I went down in that hole a little bit, so I'm going to go in there and just do that. Hopefully I've got enough pressed down enough on the back that it doesn't run through to the back side. If it does, I'll show you how to fix that. Sometimes that's not fun. It's not fun at all, actually. I don't like when it runs to the back and then you have to do the whole back side over again. But it happens. Hopefully my head isn't in the way. I'm trying to stay back. Like I said, first video. Be patient with me. I'm sure I'll get better. But I want to show you how cool UV resin can be and the things that you can do with it. Yes, it has limitations. I'm not going to lie. There's limitations to it. But it can still be as beautiful as 2-part. Now, you can't do any, you know, blooms, 3D blooms, and you can't do ink drop or anything like that. But we will do some earrings with some 2-part epoxy. And I'll show you how to do ink drop in those. Those are fun. They sell pretty well for us too, the ink drop ones. But for the most part, most of the earrings we sell are UV. UV is our #1 seller, especially at Christmas, times like that. Halloween earrings really do well. So now we're going to put this one up under the light as well. And I'm going to put you on pause, and then I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to get out what we need to complete this pair of earrings. So our standard practice is 2 jump rings. Because of the way this is facing, you need 2 jump rings to make the connection correctly. So we're going to use 6 millimeters up on the ear wire, and then 7 millimeter. And I do like about an 18 gauge. That is my favorite gauge of ear jump ring. It does work very well. I just keep them in these little, these are like, I think Dollar Tree. These are great. And then they just stack back there. They're wonderful. These are the other ones. These are my ear wires. We get these ear wires. This pair is a 14 millimeter super light sterling silver ear wire. And these are from Fire Mountain Gems. I do like House of Gems. We have 2 different companies we buy from. I mostly buy just my ear wires from Fire Mountain. They do have some great choices. But House of Gems has these great beaded ones as well. They're really wonderful. So it's just a personal preference, whatever you choose. I just think that good sterling silver is important. It's important to your earrings being done well. So the other one is up there. The top coat is still curing. 5 minutes. It's solid. So we take it off. First thing we're going to do is add the 7 millimeter. The 7 millimeter is larger, so it's going to have this moving. There's going to be movement in it more. We want to be careful with our tools because we don't want to mar up the sterling. That's the one thing about sterling. It's pretty soft, so you need to be gentle with it as you're assembling your earrings. Then we have a 6 millimeter. And that saves a little bit on cost because sterling is expensive. So you want to make sure when you have your jump ring open that you have the ear wire facing the right way. That's really important. And then you want to close up that jump ring. I just kind of do this. And then it's the perfect little. Let me get an earring card while that one's curing. And all I do for our earring cards, I order them off of, I don't know, maybe Zazzle. But I just make the hole myself. And I have 2 little, I put them in here so I wouldn't forget where they were. I seen everybody had this crushed crystal. So guess what I had to do? I had to get some. And I do love it, but a little bit goes a long way. A long way. I see people saying that all the time, but I'm not joking. It goes a long way. So then we add that to our earring card, and we always include, I personally don't wear these, but we do include them on our earrings. And there's one earring done. So here's our second one. It looks very good. Now I don't like how it looks right there, so we're going to put a little bit more on the side. This one's going to need a very thin coat, which I guess is good for you to see. But sometimes they're not perfect. You have to just work it out. I'm going to get a little bit bigger dotting tool and move it around. Maybe it was because the light was on in the background and it started to harden it a little bit. That happens. The way that I have this setup done right now, I need to either just not work on something. But as you can see, I'm being more aggressive this time because I have a very, very thin amount of UV resin And I'm just moving it around to basically skim coat the top. That's what we're doing. We're just skim coating. And this way, it kind of hides those imperfections from that first layer. But you kind of have to get a little bit more aggressive, but don't let it scare you too much. I mean, resin won't go where it's not been. That's kind of my motto. I say that and it'll probably pour over the edge. But let's think positive here. Stay positive. I know this first video is probably going to be very long. I'll have to get in my stride, and I'll have to learn to edit too, I'm sure. But I really want you to know the steps that are involved with making a quality product that you feel confident selling. You don't want to sell, you don't want to sell halfway. You want to sell done. You want to sell beautiful. You want to sell something to somebody that makes them feel beautiful. It's important. I am going to add just a, what's the word? Skosh. Ooh. That's a little more than I wanted. That's okay. I'm just going to move it slightly. There you go. So we kind of hid those imperfections that were going on over here. I do see some bubbles. I'm going to put the lighter on it too. That'll help. But I think it helps not having the lamp running, to be honest. I think that's what happened. And it happens. Now, just a little bit. Now we got to run that for another 5. So I'm going to pause you while that runs, and I will be back. Okay, I'm back. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit so you can see better what I'm doing for this last earring. Take it off the little mold. I have several of these. I don't even know where these came from, honestly. I've had them so long. Then we just start making our earring. While I was waiting, I painted a few of these. So they have their first coat of paint. I went with some different color paint colors on them too. To see if, just change it up a little bit from white. Because I do use a lot of white. So I just make sure that they match up really well, and then just give them a little squeeze. And then the 6mm. So the 18 gauge is sturdy enough that you can't bend it with your fingers, and it will hold up, to a pretty good amount of wear. Like, they won't bend easily. I have some that I've tried in the past that were just too flimsy, and I don't care for that. 18 gauge is what really we landed on and we love for our products. So there you have it. They have a cool color shift, and I like the distressed white, something a little bit different. So then we attach it to the card, and a rubber ear nut on the back, and there you have it. Our first video with our first pair of earrings. So you learned what not to do today. And hopefully we showed you a little bit of what to do. See how nice that back is? And the blue really gave them a cool look. We'll have some pictures that I'll post at the end as well. And maybe we'll have some of these done to show you pictures as well. But I want to thank you for joining me. Remember, there's going to be links for Crafty787, her molds. There will be a discount code, Let's Resin. We have a discount, link for them. We have a coupon code for my glitter chick. She has some great glitters and mica powders. So check them all out, and anything that we've used today, I will definitely try and post a link for. Like I said, this is my first video, so bear with me. We'll get better. But thank you for joining TwoCrazyShuckers Creations. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me or leave a comment. Let me know what we didn't show you, what you'd like to see more of. We have all kinds of different molds. If there's a certain shape or just certain style you'd like to see, let us know. Thanks so much for joining me. Hope you're not totally bored. Thanks so much.